Hare Krishna, everyone. Welcome to the Bhagavad Gita chapter summary series. Today we will be discussing chapter number 6. What is the title of chapter number 6 of Bhagavad Gita? Anyone? Feel free to unmute or put on the chat.
Dhyan Yoga.
Dhyana Yoga. Okay. Um, in the previous chapters also, we understood the meaning of the word yoga. So, what is the meaning of the word yoga?
Yoga means भगवान से connect करना.
भगवान से connect करना.
Connect to supreme power.
Union connection with the Lord. Yes. And dhyana means
To meditate on him.
meditation. Dhyan means meditation. Very nice. Okay. So when we talk about meditation, okay, which part of the body do you think is utilized the most?
Mind.
Mind. Yeah, beautiful. Mind. So today's acronym is MIND. MIND. ठीक है. So, as we all have normally heard about Ashtanga Yoga, which includes the asanas, the pranayamas, which normally we see nowadays, it's very popular, which we call as the yoga classes, right? So, this Ashtanga Yoga, Ashta Anga, meaning 8 limbs. Ashta is 8 and Anga is limb. सो 8 limbs वाला योगा. ठीक है, उसमें 8 limbs कौन से आते हैं? फर्स्ट वन इज यमा. ठीक है, विच मीन्स टू एथिकली रिस्ट्रेन फ्रॉम समथिंग, टू स्टॉप योर सेल्फ फ्रॉम समथिंग. देन नियमा. Niyama means to do something, to practice something, to observe something. Then asana. Asana, we know the physical postures. Then the next one is pranayama. Pranayam also, I think most of you must have practiced. It's breath control. Then comes pratihara, which means withdrawal of the senses. Then dharana, which is concentration. And then comes dhyana and finally samadhi. So you see, this is like the seventh limb of Ashtanga Yoga. Today, what we are talking about, Dhyana Yoga, which is meditation. Okay. So the first, the code that we said is mind. M stands for mind again. I stands for impractical. N stands for no man's land. And D stands for difficult process. Again, M stands for mind. I stands for impractical. N stands for no man's land. And D stands for difficult process. Okay. Chalo, we'll see one by one about this. So, mind. What about the mind? So, here we are discussing that if the mind is an enemy or a friend. How many think mind is enemy? How many think mind is friend? How many think both? You can put your comments on the chat or feel free to unmute. Friend, enemy, or both?
Both.
Yeah, so we have unanimous both. Everybody's saying both. Okay. Yeah. So, when is the mind a friend and when is the mind enemy? If you say both. Any
When
opinion?
when controlled by us, it's a friend. When not controlled, it's an enemy.
Bang on. Yeah. When the mind is controlled by the living entity, it acts as a friend of the living entity. However, when the mind is uncontrolled, then it becomes an enemy. Very true. Um, can you tell me some of the characteristics of a person who has made friendship with his mind? How would we know, okay, this guy has made his mind as a friend? Like, what would be his symptoms or characters?
Discipline.
Discipline, okay. What else?
Success.
Hmm?
That person will be successful
That's not a
spiritually.
quality, no. That's a result. Like it's not a quality.
Okay.
Hmm. Hmm. But what would be his characteristic? Like what is his trait?
He would be like for him, happy
Equipoised.
and unhappiness won't matter. He would be
Yeah,
like Samanya in everything.
correct. Yeah, very nice. Equipoised,
Calm,
equanimous, samanya, and
ca-
everything.
calm.
Calm. So these are the characteristics of somebody who has controlled his mind. Now, if we go back to the previous chapters, we spoke about a person called as Ātmarāma in chapter number 2. Then we again spoke about somebody who has equal vision. Right? In the previous chapters, we have already spoken about this person, and now again, third time, we are talking about this person who has controlled his mind. Okay, so again, it is equal vision. He's equanimous, he's calm, and he is also, what was another characteristic of Atmaram, the most important one? Not just these things, but also he is very happy by himself. He's self-satisfied. Yeah, because we learned that there could be a person who is totally morose or depressed in life, and he also doesn't care about anything, happiness, distress, honor, dishonor. He's just done with everything, but that's not Atmaram. The unique quality of Atmaram, or a person who has controlled his mind or has made friends with his mind, is that he is happy from within. Yeah. So, as you rightly said, the mind could be an enemy or the mind could be a friend. Somebody who has controlled his mind, his mind is these are the characteristics. And now let's talk about somebody who has not controlled his mind and whose mind is acting as an enemy. So, what would be his characteristics like? But we will learn this from a story. Okay. So there was this person who came from work late. Okay. So he was very tired. Okay. And then he decided that he will skip his dinner and he will directly go to rest because he's so tired and it's late. Then what happens before sleeping? What do we normally do?
Pray,
Hmm?
pray and sleep. Pray and sleep.
Pray. Okay. But this person is an uncontrolled mind.
He uses his phone.
Yeah, we scroll. Yeah, absolutely. So he started to scroll. Okay. And while scrolling, he came across an an advertisement, a post about an ice cream. Which ice cream? Double chocolate Ben and Jerry ice cream. For those who have watched that movie, Salam Namaste, I think they will relate to this. Okay. So he saw this post about the ice cream and he was tempted to have this ice cream. He went to the app where he could order this ice cream, and it turned out that now this place is selling these ice creams but only takeaway, no delivery. So now his desire to have this ice cream was so much that he decided he will go and take away, pack this ice cream and come and eat or go and dine in. Okay. And then he goes to that place. Okay. And then they say out of stock. Okay. And then he decides to go to another place to find the same ice cream because now he has made his mind that he will eat this ice cream. ठीक है so then like that he goes on an ice cream hunt for that same particular double chocolate Ben and cherry ice cream, and then he goes and he cannot find, and finally till he didn't find that ice cream he went to different places, and finally in a hotel he finds it, and that's what happens in the movie. Yeah. So then after that he comes home, he's satisfied and he takes rest. Obviously what happens in the morning is he wakes up late. Okay, and now that he wakes up late, then there is a ripple spiral effect. Once you are late, then you are cranky, then you are late at work, then there is more traffic suddenly that day, and then everything goes wrong. Yeah. and then the whole day was spoiled. So we see just by a small desire. Now, the desire to eat an ice cream looks apparently very small, yeah, but it has the capacity to ruin the entire day. And that could also mean if you're late at work, and let's say if you had a very important meeting that day, then it could actually ruin your entire career or your life, yeah. So, even the apparently small desires, okay, have the capability to impact your entire life negatively. Okay, it's not that just the big desires that you have which would affect your impact your life if it goes unchecked, right? So this is what we learn from when our mind acts as an enemy. Therefore it is so important to have our mind under control. And that is why, time and again, after every two chapters, we are talking about this person of equal vision, Ātmarāma, or controlled mind person. So, because we know that this is where we need to be and go. Right. Now, moving on from M to I was impractical. So, now this Dhyāna yoga is an impractical method, is what is the conclusion of this part of the chapter. Now, impractical method, when I say impractical for what? That is the question. We see that nowadays, in the past few years, the yoga studios have come up, yoga teachers, the number of yoga teachers has increased. So if it was impractical, why is the rise in this yoga classes, right? One should think about it. If Bhagavad Gita says it's impractical, but then many people are finding some value in it, right? Then only it will be a rise. So when we say impractical, the question should come, impractical for what? Okay, so if it is like let's say, if I say I want to do this ashtanga yoga for losing weight, or I need a size 0 body, or I have some health issues and I want to overcome those, then yes, then it's a practical method. We are not saying don't go for yoga classes, okay? I do it personally, but what we are saying that this is an impractical method for yoga, meaning connection with the Lord. That is the definition of yoga that we were using, right? So, if you want to connect with the Lord through the medium of Dhyana yoga, this is impractical. Let's see why and how. Okay, so there are some prerequisites that we need to follow if you want to connect with the Supreme by the way of Dhyana yoga, and the Supreme Himself is telling that those methods, those steps, those ways that we need to follow, right? So, what are the steps that Krishna is telling to Arjuna that we need to do for practicing this Dhyana yoga? First one is to go to a secluded place. Okay, it's not that you just register at a yoga studio and do that. You know what you're gonna do is you're gonna focus your mind on the Lord. So you need to have an undisturbed place. Okay, now how easy or difficult it is to find in a busy city a secluded and an undisturbed place where nobody will bother you. And when I say nobody, it also means distractions from your phone, your social media. Okay. So better to go at a no Wi-Fi place. Then you have to practice this not only for a few days but or a few weeks, but for years together. Then you might be able to achieve the union or connection with the Lord by Dhyana Yoga. Then you need to sit erect for so many years on a particular type of cloth, and then concentrate your mind on the Lord. Now, if we have to concentrate our mind on anything, even for a few minutes nowadays, I would say it's very difficult. Then you have to control your breathing. You have to have regulated eating. Okay. And then you have to be a celibate all your life. Okay. And then sitting in complete silence and free from all physical and mental distractions, you focus your mind, concentrate on the Lord. Now, guys, you tell me, is this practical for today's day and age for any of you? Does anyone think like, oh, I can do all of these? No, right? So that is why Krishna is saying all of these steps, and Arjuna is saying that this method is, sorry, not practical. I think for me personally, hey Krishna, this is unendurable. He says, Arjuna says over here in this part of the chapter that, I mean, it is easier to control the wind rather than to control the mind. I mean, it is so difficult to control the mind that at once somebody who could even control the wind still cannot control the mind. And we all agree to that because right now we know that this conversation between Krishna and Arjuna is actually for us more than Arjuna, right? He's just acting as our representative and throwing our questions out to Krishna. And the answers that Krishna is giving, it's not just for Arjuna, it's for each one of us. So, what Krishna says, he doesn't say, no, Arjuna, this is a practical method, you can do it. No, no, he's agreeing. Krishna is very practical. He's saying, yes, I agree this is unendurable. I agree this is impractical for today's day and age. However, it is not impossible. He says that. So, what is the way that you can actually try, at least take steps to control the mind is by, Krishna says, abhyasaya konte. He says with two things you can actually try to control the mind. Would you want to know which two things? Which is actually practical in today's day and age? That is, first one is practice, continuous practice, and the second one is detachment. Okay, now let's understand how to do this easier. It's like these terms are very broad. Okay, let's break it down. What actually I need to do from today or tomorrow? Tell me that. Okay, so practice. What kind of practice? So in order to control the mind, the term of mind is man. Okay, and tra means to conquer. So if you want to conquer your mind, so you need a mantra. Okay, so you need to practice the mantra meditation. You have to continuously chant a particular mantra in order to be able to conquer your mind slowly and gradually. And what is the mantra that we practice daily to conquer our mind is Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Those who are practicing the chanting of this mantra, or what we call as mantra meditation, would vouch from their experience in life that to some extent they have been able to train their or tame their mind as compared to how crazy and how ferocious it was before that they chanted, right? And the second one we spoke is after practice is detachment. So, in order to detach, to create that detachment from things, what is the practical method that we follow is the four regulative principles. What are the four regulative principles? That we have to abstain from some things. To detach, we have to abstain yourself from something. And what are those four things that you need to abstain yourself from? Anyone?
No meat eating,
Killing, yeah.
Okay. No
no
meat eating, no
illicit
killing.
sex, no
No sex
gambling,
outside marriage. No
no
gambling.
gambling. What was the fourth one?
तेरा नशा नशा.
No, what is that called?
Intoxication.
Yeah,
Intoxication.
intoxication. Yes.
Yes. So no meat eating or no killing. No gambling. No sex outside marriage. And no intoxication. Okay. Why these four things we need to abstain ourselves from? Think about it. When you are intoxicated, okay, when you are high on alcohol or any other drug, can you control it? It is so difficult. You don't know what you are doing. You are not even in control of your body. Forget what about your mind, right? It's so difficult. And let's say an example of gambling also. In gambling also, you are so anxious, okay, whether what is going to be the outcome, whether you're going to win, you're going to lose, so at that time you cannot think straight. The mind is absolutely going out of your control. Okay, and let's say about which one, no illicit sex. Okay, so there have been times for people of this generation where you must have heard stories or experienced yourself, where about last night you say, okay, in the influence, under the influence of alcohol or drugs, you might have been you might have somebody might have gotten close or slept around with somebody and then realized only the next day, hey, this is not what I wanted to do. right? And we have seen in the movies also all of that. So what are these things helping us to do is to set a basic framework that the mind doesn't go completely out of control. Anyways, it is so difficult to control the mind, and with adding these things, if these four things are we are practicing, then it becomes absolutely out of control. Yeah, so this is the basic foundation that we are laying, and then we do the practice of mantra, and then we try to control our mind, and it is a slow and gradual process. Okay, so that was about impractical method. Okay, but not impossible. And then no man's land. So what happens is, at this point of time, Arjuna is really has a cause of concern, that Arjuna is concerned that what happens to a yogi who tries to practice these things, okay, and tries to control his mind basically by different practices, but in the end he doesn't reach the final destination. Okay, he's not able to completely control the mind. Okay, and I think some of you might have the similar question too. That what happens if I do all of these things? I abstain from these things, okay? I give up all the sense gratification in these things, and I try to spend my time in mantra meditation rather than scrolling Instagram or doing other things for gratification. So I am sacrificing something, but at the end of my life, maybe I am not able to fully achieve the final goal, which is to control the mind fully, because sometimes it might be that the mind might go out of control in spite of practicing all this. So what happens in that case? So is it that this person, he even lost his gratification, his pleasure opportunities, because he abstained himself from that, and at the same time he didn't even accomplish his spiritual goal? So na idhar ka na udhar ka, like it's like the dhobi ka kutta wala thing, na ghar ka na ghat ka. So is it like that this person becomes? So Krishna says, no, don't worry. He's giving this assurance that even if you practice, okay, and let's say you have made only 40% of accomplishment, then in the next life, this person have will start his journey from 41%. Unlike what happens in the material world, if you have accomplished something, let's say some amount of wealth, okay, but in the next life you again start from scratch. Okay, you cannot carry forward, you cannot take your wealth with you. Then let's say you have a lot of degrees, okay, in terms of, let's say, MBA, PhD, CA, etc. But next life again you start from ABCD, right? There's nobody who is born as a PhD or MBA or CA or whatever those degrees, right? So in the material world, whatever accomplishments you do, okay, that are left behind. But in this case, in the spiritual world, whatever accomplishments that you achieve, that would be carried forward with you. And that is why you see that some people, like two siblings born in the same house, going to the same school, and exposed to the same set of friends and environment, still one of them is super what do you say, calm, composed, mind controlled, those characteristics which we saw for a person who has made friends with the mind, right? You will see. And then the other one would be not like that, okay? So why that difference in spite of same upbringing and same exposure and same everything? That is because the carry forward is proved over there. Okay? So that's about the no man's land. So Krishna is telling over here there are two categories of people over here. The unsuccessful yogi, okay, who didn't accomplish the final goal. So there are two types. One is who practiced for a small period, okay, and then he was unsuccessful. And the other one is who practiced for a very long time and then he was unsuccessful. So Krishna is telling what will happen, the outcome for both of these types of both these categories of people, what will happen in the next life. Okay. Then we go to the next part, which is D is difficult. Okay, so M we said is mind, could be an enemy or a friend. I we said is an impractical method. N we said no man's land. Okay, and D is difficult. So we understand after hearing all of these prerequisites and steps of how to achieve the supreme by way of meditation, which is Dhyana Yoga. We understood. And we know that this is very difficult, right? Because it is all about mind control and also body control, physically sitting erect and all of that. But now, at the end of this chapter, Krishna is telling that amongst all the yoga practices that we learned in the previous chapters, what were the previous chapters? Which other two yoga practices which we learned? The methods to connect with the Supreme, other than Dhyana Yoga, which were the two previous ones?
Karma Yoga and Jnana Yoga.
Nice. Karma Yoga, Jnana Yoga, and today Dhyana Yoga. Okay. So Krishna is saying that, in my opinion, okay, meaning in his opinion, which is the best form of yoga method. Okay. Means he's saying which is the best way to come and connect with me. And he's telling this at the end of the chapter in order to set base for the next few chapters. Okay. So here Krishna is telling, in my opinion, which is the best method is Bhakti Yoga. So he's going to introduce another new way of connecting with him. Okay. So what happens in this Bhakti Yoga, and why is he saying that Bhakti Yoga is the best method? Okay. So here in Karma Yoga, we understood that we need to keep working with our physical senses. Okay. And not be attached to the outcome. Okay. But we still work. Okay. Which means you're using your physical senses in order to unify with the Lord. Okay. In the second one was about Jnana Yoga. Gyan means you use your intelligence. Okay. And Dhyana Yoga. Dhyan means what? What do you do? Is you use your mind. Okay. You continuously focus, you concentrate. So these are the three faculties that we are using in order to achieve that union with the Lord. But in Bhakti Yoga, we will see that this is a combo package. Why combo package? Because we are going to use our physical senses, we are going to use our intelligence, and we are going to use our mind, all three together in order to unify with the Lord. Therefore, Krishna is saying that this is the best method to achieve Him. Okay. So, Krishna is concluding this chapter with setting a base for the next few chapters. Now, in order to understand more deeply that what is this Bhakti Yoga and why this is best and why this is more easier and why it is applicable for us as compared to any other yoga methods, we will see in the next 6 chapters. Krishna has spent the next 6 chapters, which is also called the treasure of Bhagavad Gita. Why? Because there are 18 chapters in Bhagavad Gita, and if you divide it by 3, so it's like first 6, last 6, and the middle 6. So anything that is in the center, the treasure is always in the center, the cream. Okay. So that is what we are gonna step ahead and understand in the next few classes. So for today, let's try and practice these steps of practice and detachment, okay, by mantra meditation and by following the 4 regulative principles in order to help us to make our mind our friend. Okay. So see you next week. If anybody has any questions or comments, please feel free to unmute yourself and ask or mention. Thank you for your time and attention. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much.
Thank you.